Hello, 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 and welcome to Game 3 of Episode 6 of Decepticast. Still with you, I am Decepticats. So, if you've stuck around through all three games, kudos to you, you're a champion. But as I've said all along through this whole episode, I am doing 3 replays this episode because 3.17 is about to hit, and all the replays I have are about to be useless, unviewable, just mindless .rec files with nowhere to be played. So, this game is, I believe, about a 2000 level game. I'm not sure. But it is starring WNX TyranidTerror as the Hive Tyrant and MS Bigamo as the Apothecary. So, let's get it going.
Command.
And if you're noticing the size of the APO on my screen, that is because I have a very nice unit scaling mod, which I should probably link in the description to this video, and will do so. So, typical capping for Leviathan Hive. Although these scouts favoring power and these Hormigons favoring requisition. Pretty typical for Tyranid and Space Marines. And we've got TAC Marines out for Bigamo and double Termagants for TyranidTerror.
Ready for battle.
Oh, the Hive Tyrant, how silly he looks lumbering along. He seems like he's gonna fall down to me. I kind of always expect him to walk like the Carnifex does on all fours.
Adding power generator.
Oh, the mindless banter I fill the lulls with.
Your brothers stand ready.
Ooh, Dark Angels TAC Marines getting in that cover, pew-pewing away at the Hive Tyrant. The APO charges in and is getting pew-pewed in turn. And decides, hey, I don't like getting shot, I'm gonna run away. And the Hive Tyrant similarly decides, I don't like getting shot, I'm gonna punch those guys with my claws. However, without Termagant support, he is going to lose. But here come the Hormigons, charging in, doing some pretty awesome damage to those TAC Marines, which is expertly healed by Bigamo before they lose a model. Meanwhile, these scouts are running away from these Termagants after having captured this power node. There goes the Hive Tyrant, fleeing in slow motion. Hormigons and Termagants ganging up on the Apothecary. Probably a good call, as the heal is not as effective on the APO as it is on a TAC Marine. At 6 of 8 models, the Hormigons get out of there with Adrenal Glands in upgrading queue. Termagants are getting their crippling poison. And here comes some Assault Marines from Bigamo.
What are your orders?
One Termagant falls over dead with a thud. There goes the crit poison, which, contrary to some people, does not any longer apply a debuff.
Leave it for now.
Just the slow. No vulnerability.
Are we to accept defeat? The Tyranid swarm is overwhelming a victory point.
TyranidTerror making good use of these Termagant's speed, able to ninja cap this point. But here come the scouts, and they quickly get into cover, and the scouts quickly pull back. Meanwhile, these TAC Marines are driving off those Termagants, but these Hormigons are swinging in.
Brothers, the Emperor has tactical squad is
Deploying war gear.
Assault Marines jumping in on those Hormigons, knocking them back, but the scouts are crippled, so they're gonna have to retreat, or else lose all of their... and they make it over there. There go the Termagants having to run away from the Assault Marines, but the Hive Tyrant is here now. Hopefully that Synapse will give the Hormigons the boost they need to get away. And they do, with just 3 models and 70 and 80 hit points left. The heal goes off on the attack marines, and the Hive Tyrant is driven out of there. We have some Raveners coming in.
Taking position in the brush.
Probably not an ideal choice against Assault Marines, but who can say? The Apothecary does have the Sanguine Chainsword, which gives him a little bit of hit points every time he melees enemy infantry. Attack Marines recapping this point. Scouts now have their shotgun upgrade, which should help nicely against those Hormagaunts. And in go the Assault Marines, jumping right on top of those Raveners and tying them up in melee so that their awesome plasma damage Devour Cannon can't do much of anything. They burrow strike away, trying to finish off these scouts. And they do! A big loss for Bigamo, as they did have that shotgun upgrade. Assault Marines lose a model and retreat. That Apothecary is sticking it out, hammering away at these Raveners. As the Hive Tyrant tries to do a little bit of ninja capping. I'm never a fan of these offense heroes being used for ninja capping. I know sometimes it makes sense in the situation, but they're battering rams. And you don't use a hammer as a paperweight, you use it to smash things. A rock can be a paperweight. A hammer is for smashing or hammering. The metaphor is weak, but you understand what I'm trying to say. The new scout squad, fresh from orbit, is here, ready to chip away at the Hive Tyrant with these attack marines, who are unfortunately too slow to run and gun the Hive Tyrant. And the scouts, now having been re-upgraded with a shotgun, go ahead and start to cap this point. But here come the Hormagaunts, and with the Hive Tyrant's basic synapse, they will pose quite a threat to these scouts. Oh, a nice shotgun blast suppressing them. Nice crippling poison as well from the Termagants, but the scouts are in retreat mode and ready to get out of there. And here are the Assault Marines, disrupting these Hormagaunts and chopping them to bits. Nice heal from the Apothecary, preventing model losses. The Raveners are here now. And the Assault Marines switch target to the Termagants, probably a good choice, as they'll be much easier to drive off than the Raveners who have burrow strike these attack Marines. A nice defensive jump onto the Raveners to try to protect the attack Marines. Apothecary looking a bit light, decides to turn tail and get out of there a little bit. And a full retreat from the Tyranid, who is meanwhile ninja capping this point. This is what people talk about when they say Tyranids are overpowered. It is that they are really fast, and the distance from here to here for Termagants is not as long as the distance from here to here for most SM units. Scouts are fine.
Understood.
But oh, this Apothecary and his Assault Marine pals have spied this treachery and are ready to intercept. Oh, but they don't want to give themselves away by moving in front of this node. And also, their attack Marine pals need help. Good heal there, saving from any model losses once again. And as these scouts try to retake this point, these Termagants have doubled back and pick away and take one model out. Both players go into Tier 2 at about the same time. Oh, these attack Marines are up a creek without a paddle. And boy, does it show. Look at their hit point just dropping down. One model lost. A heal goes off to save the other two. Those Hormagaunts are going to have to get out of there, but so are the attack Marines and the Apothecary.
Additional units have become available, Commander.
Assault Squad decides it's best to recap this point, while these Termagants go ahead and decap this point. Razorback coming up for Bigamo now.
Must reverse the course of the battle.
A pretty good choice, as Tyranids tend to struggle a little bit with faster vehicles, especially in 3.16 before the run-and-gun Venom Broods became a thing. Spoiler alert if you haven't read the patches. Patch notes. Patches. Shotgun scouts come in to try to save this point, but Devour Cannon Raveners are just way too powerful for scouts. I mean, they could have forced melee'd as well, and it would have been the same result. Assault Marines got into a bit of a dicey spot here with the Hive Tyrant. Trying to drop a brood nest here. Not necessarily the best location, as there it is instantly deflated. But here's the Razorback, beginning to chew away at these Hormagaunts, and allows these Assault Marines to reinforce. Oh, Hormagaunts down to 1 model, 20 hit points. Are they going to be able to get away with the Hive Tyrant Synapse? They jump over that log and are fleeing to safety. But down goes the Hive Tyrant, and down goes the Apothecary. Ravener's standing right next to the Razorback, and the Tac Marines are in quite a bit of trouble here. A bit out of position. Perhaps TyranidTerror thought he had forced melee'd on these Tac Marines, but hadn't. Are the Raveners going to be able to make it out of there? 1 model. Yes. Quite easily, in fact. That was a bit of unnecessary drama. Both players, I should point out, have full gen farms and just capped nodes. But TyranidTerror has had control at this point for most of the game. And Bigamo has decided, no more. I will take it back. And the Assault Marines set about doing just that. In comes the Hive Tyrant, having been resurrected. And that Apo's in a bit of trouble again. Heals himself. The Assault Squad now does have their Sergeant. They're looking a bit light on hit points. With 500 between... Oh, and there goes the Sergeant. In a bloody mess. There's his body right here. Termagant's stomping over it. The Warrior Brute, the Adrenal Gland, has joined the mix. And is tearing through these tacks nicely. But they go ahead and jump into this Razorback, which begins to retreat. Nice smite. While these Raveners do a nice little burrow strike up to this high ground and then bug out and are unable to engage the scouts. They are going to have to, unfortunately, retreat at this point if they would like to live. Termagant's getting out of there. These Raveners are down to 1 model, 80 hit points. And they finally retreat, but is that Razorback going to be able to intercept them? A reinforcement for the scouts popping out and unsure of how to get to his teammates. And with 39 hit points, that Ravener Brute does make it out of there. Bigamo now starting in on a Gen Harass. Victory points slightly in TyranidTerror's favor, who is also going to Tier 3 at this moment. But with his power farm being decapped, well, he's in no trouble. He has 173 power. But it will effectively slow down any attempted Carnifex spam. Librarian's in a bit of trouble here, getting bashed away by that Hive Tyrant. Heal goes off on him. Apothecary now having to get out of there. A very nice smite on the Termagant blob. And the Apo, with help from the Scouts, Razorback, and Tac Marines, is able to block the Hive Tyrant's pursuit, who now goes down. No backlash on any of the units as they were too far away to get his synapse. Good shotgun blast on these Hormagaunts.